So I spent $10,000 on a spec ad and completely wasted it. No ROI, no new clients, nothing. And here's the craziest part. It actually wasn't a bad project. It looked premium, high-end cinematic. So the question is, what went wrong? Turns out I made 3 massive mistakes, and the last one is the one mistake that almost every filmmaker makes. So stick around, because if you're planning to invest in spec work this year, this could save you thousands of dollars and months of wasted time. Mistake 1, chasing the money spec instead of the right work. Okay, so let's rewind. Last year, we had the opportunity to test out the Sony Burano, a new camera that was coming out. So we thought, why not shoot a spec project while we're at it? Kind of double up on things. We picked Salt and Stone, a lifestyle deodorant company, and figured we'll make it a clean, aesthetic product commercial, something cool and different. We'll build some sets, get some models, and make it look high end. And just like that, we'd have another polished spec in our portfolio. And this is where mistake number 1 happened. I got so locked into making a spec project that I never even asked the most basic questions that you should ask before every spec project. Is this even the kind of work you want to be hired for? And because I never asked that, I threw thousands of dollars into a project that I can't even really use. The real cost of this mistake is I spent money, I spent time and resources on a project that doesn't even fit my brand. Not only my time and resources, but my team's time and resources. That budget could have gone and been invested into something that was better, a different campaign that actually positioned me better for high-end clients. So the big lesson here is, don't pick a spec project just because it's easy to execute. Pick one that actually aligns with your long-term goals. And before starting any project, ask yourself, would I want to do more of this type of work? If the answer is no, don't even waste your time on it. Mistake number 2 is not thinking about where the project actually lives. But that wasn't even the biggest issue, because if I had somehow convinced myself that this project was actually useful for my portfolio, the real question becomes, where does it actually fit? When you make a spec project, it doesn't just have to look good. It has to actually live somewhere. It has to belong somewhere. And this was the mistake number 2 that I made. A portfolio isn't just a collection of work. It's actually a narrative of who you are. This project felt disconnected from the rest of my portfolio. And if I show it to potential clients, it stands out, but not in the good way. Instead of strengthening my brand, it feels like a random outlier. Imagine showing a client a reel of 5 dark, moody commercials, something that I actually lean towards. Then suddenly a bright deodorant company shows up and it doesn't really have my voice in it either. So a strong portfolio isn't just a mix of cool projects. It should tell a clear, cohesive story about the type of work you do, who you do it for, and what your voice is, right? All your work should have your voice in it, or else it's just building a video for the sake of shooting. So sometimes what you get is one-offs that don't fit. They dilute your brand instead of actually building it. So the lesson here is, every project in your portfolio should serve a clear purpose. A standalone spec is great in some cases when you're first starting, but with no strategic alignment, it's just kind of a wasted effort. In my case, we've been doing this for a bit more time, so doing a project spec that's this late in the game doesn't actually add too much to what I was actually trying to build for. Mistake number 3 is confusing I can with I want to. Okay, so I spent thousands of dollars on this project that didn't fit my actual career goals. And then I didn't even think about where this was actually going to sit. And the worst part, even if I ignored all of that, the biggest mistake I made, the one that actually a lot of filmmakers make, I never even asked myself if I wanted to do this kind of work more in the future. The reality of doing work that you don't love is that, yeah, you can shoot a product commercial, but I can make it aesthetic, I can make it look like a high-end commercial, because those are the skills that I've built up. But the question is, do I really want to, right? We always get told to experiment with different styles, but not every style is worth pursuing long-term. In the beginning, yeah, sure, test things when you don't really know who you are. Yeah, you're kind of finding your voice, finding your style. But during this project, I realized something. I don't actually like shooting product work. It doesn't excite me. I don't want to do more of these projects in the future. So even if someone did reach out to me in the future, I'd probably have to turn it down anyways. But because I never asked these questions, these are such crucial things that you should know beforehand, I ended up investing in something that I didn't even want to do again. So the big lesson here is, just because you can do something well doesn't mean it's the right direction for your career. Focus on projects that align with the kind of work that you actually want to get hired for. Really, the biggest takeaway here is, yeah, I wasted some money, but I also learned something from this. Not because it wasn't well shot or because it wasn't cinematic, but because I picked the wrong project. And I didn't think about how it would fit in my portfolio, who I was as a person at the time. And worst of all, I made all that work that attracted the wrong type of client, right? I positioned myself for the wrong person. And the real takeaway here, a great portfolio isn't just what you show, it's actually about what you don't show. If your portfolio is full of projects that you don't actually want to get hired for, you'll keep attracting the wrong person and keep attracting the work that you don't love until you completely burn out. So what you should do instead, we've seen so many people spinning their wheels over and over. We were actually one of these people a long time ago when we were first starting our spec world. We had kind of dabbled around with everything and we had to really find our style. And more or less over the years, we found found out the systems that actually work for this. And that's actually why we built Cinematic Portfolio Mastery. We teach filmmakers how to make spec the right way. So you're not just throwing money at projects that don't move you forward. It's a live 8-week program that walks you through how to plan, shoot, and position your spec work. That actually gets you booked for 10K plus projects. Doors for our cohort are only open for 2 more weeks. So if you're serious about building a portfolio that attracts high-end clients and raises your rates, check out the link in the description below. Otherwise, don't make the same mistakes that we did. Now that you know the mistakes to avoid in your spec work, if you want to learn how to land your first $10,000 project and get paid what you're worth, watch the video we have prepped up here for you.